Hello YouTubers, this is Unka Bean from Unka Bean's Games Lab, and today we're going to be looking at an alpha game known as the Universim. The game by Crytivo Software, which is a new software development company, Crytivo Games I should say, my apologies. And what it is a God game. So what we're going to do is we're going to start new life, and I'm going to explain how the game works and do a basic playthrough. Now, as the game loads, I can tell you a few things about the game. Like I said, it's currently in alpha stage. They're releasing updates once per month, and they're usually rather large updates. Everything so far has been going along quite smoothly. There's bugs in that, of course. As we play, we find them. That's part of the problems of an alpha game, but it's also part of the fun. Now, I myself enjoy the God games. They give you a nice little welcome creator screen to thank you for playing the alpha game. There we go, there's a quick keyboard, W, A, S, and D to move the planet around, or you can use the mouse. Place the evolution tower is the first thing we have to do. The evolution tower is a basic building that builds your research as well as is your starting point for your civilization. Sorry, I'm just looking around for an interesting area on the mountain to place my first tower. Once I do and we get everything started, I will start to explain the HUD to you and how that works. I think we found a nice little spot right down here. So you place the evolution power by clicking. I'm going to skip the tutorial because I'm going to be explaining the game as we go. Let's just zoom in a little bit. As you can see, we have 2 nuggets. This is your workforce. They're going to start off by building a stone hut so they have a place to live. As you can also see, there's 2 little baby nuggets running around. They give you 1 female and 1 male so you can propagate the species. This guarantees that, you're going to have kids again. Now to start off, you click on the evolution tower to bring up this here, which is your research screen. Now right now we have a purple one, which is a very special one. It takes a long time, 20 minutes, but the purple ones usually mean it's a higher level. So nugget food needs reduced by 20%. That's a pretty big one. I think we'll take that. That means I can no longer research the other yellow one. Now the blue ones you can still research as well. Here we have the primitive tools, the clothing, and the primitive waterworks. Now the waterworks is where you want to start off, as you need water for most of your buildings to run. So it comes with a water well, a water pump, and a water reservoir. So I would recommend that one first. Now between the tools and the clothing, it's not really matter which one comes first. They're only 30 seconds to research. So that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, now that we've got them getting everything going, and we can see our little nuggets are working hard on their stone hut over here. They'll build the scaffolding as the building builds. Once all 4 layers are covered in scaffolding, they will start to build it. Okay, as you can see, primitive waterworks is completed, so that means we need to build a water pump. This will allow them to start making baby nuggets. Now, I'm going to place 2 water pumps, and then I'm going to start explaining the game while they build those water pumps. Okay, here we go. Now it's going to take them a little while to build those water pumps, so that's going to give me time to go over the heads-up display. As you can see, they've got little foxes and other animals that roam the planet as well. You'll see mammoths, elk, many other animals, my apologies. Now let's start off with the top left. Up here is your God power. What this is every God action you take costs power. For instance, right now up here you can see it's marked with these little arrows. That's telekinesis. That takes 2 points. That allows you to pick up or move a nugget or anything. The second thing over here is your God light. Right now it doesn't make much difference, but when it gets dark, it's nice to have. It's on by default. This is the alarm to send your nuggets to the bunker. When you research a bunker later, you can send them there when you've got a natural disaster, a hurricane, etc. coming this way. The next number here, that is the year your nuggets. Years do not equal seasons. 1 year is quite faster than 4 seasons. As you can see, the little arrow is pointing to the upper right. That denotes the wind direction. If there's a fire, that's the direction the fire will go. And right below it is the temperature. And over here is the nugget time, not your time. You can fast forward the game, and you can have the game on regular speed. You cannot pause it as of yet. Now we're going to move over here to the upper left, or the upper right, my apologies. And we have the buildings list panel. This shows you your buildings that are being constructed, or buildings that have been built. You have community or residential. You can see the health of the building is at 96%. You can see what the building requires regarding water or power. And you have a button to turn the building on or off. Now that works for these once they're built as well. You will have a button to turn them on and off, and you'll be able to see their health. The next one is your nugget panel. Now, this one is quite intensive. We start with their name, their last name, their occupation. They're all laborers right now, and as you can see, all 4 are grown up and working. We have 4 nugget adults and 0 nugget babies. So, the good news is we just doubled our labor force. The bad news is we need more babies. More labor. You can click on here to sort the nuggets by age. The next one here sorts them by hunger, and then by thirst, their health, their stamina, their might, their happiness, their education, which is going to be very important later, and I'm not sure what this tooltip is for. I do apologize. I don't know everything. And this is for sorting nuggets by a symbol. You can put a little symbol on a separate nugget so you know them when you see them. And that is your nugget control panel. Okay, next, besides the nugget control panel, we have 4 adult nuggets, 0 baby nuggets. This nice little button here with the home symbol will center you on your evolution tower, bringing you right back to where you are. So you can go off in the world looking for little animals, or you can explore new areas. And all you have to do is hit that nice little button, and it takes you right back home again. And the next button beside that is the bug report window, which of course, there's bugs. It's gonna happen. There we go. I'm just realigning my planet so I can see what's going on. As you can see, our water pumps are coming in. So this gives us a chance to move on to the bottom. Starting on the bottom left, this is your God powers. The first one is Wrath, which gives you stuff like tornadoes. And, sorry, I did not mean to click that. Gives you tornadoes, windstorms, and trickle effect, which is rainstorms. The next one is your influence, which gives you telekinesis, Lake Cupidon, which is a love spell and makes your nuggets fall in love and go off and happily form a family. Then we have Kickstart, which is the equivalent of a caffeine jolt, gives them a kick in the butt. And then we have Jolt of Joy, which gives them a little jolt of joy, and I do mean a little jolt of joy. I think that's going to be made more powerful later on through evolution and research. Next up, we have the protection. This brings us Rejuvenate. This allows you to heal a nugget or a building. You can heal broken bones, you can heal illnesses, and everything from there. The final one we have is Creation. So far, there's nothing there, but the game's in alpha state, more to come. Below that, we have our Build panel. Right here, we start with our production. You research, we'll have a wood refinery, which allows us to refine wood into lumber so we can make upgraded buildings later. As you can see, they're boxed off right now, which means we need to research it. The next one is the stone refinery. Now, the stone refinery does the same thing as the wood refinery. It refines stone for upgraded buildings. Our next one over is adaptation. We have farms, which we will be researching shortly. The fishing pier. Local businesses, which is a business to make your nuggets happy. When they get depressed, they will go to a lizard candy or a hair salon, do their hair, eat some candy, and they'll cheer up a bit. It's a really good thing to have a few of them around. The bunker is pretty self-explanatory. It's where your nuggets run and hide in case of natural disaster. Next, we move on to resource management. We have a water reservoir, which holds water in case your water pumps fail, they run out, or they do not get repaired in time. We also have a warehouse next, which is obviously for storing goods. Then we have the courier's hut, which is developed later in the game, which causes nuggets to run back and forth with materials, food, etc. for the restaurants and stuff like that. I see we have a nugget that has gotten sick from drinking bad water. So here we want to go to top one, and down to protection, rejuvenate, control click, and she is healed and safe. And now that I see they're already starting to drink, I'm going to get back to this. I'd better put down a well. Okay, now back to where we were. We had just finished resource management with the courier's hut. So that put us onto resources itself. The water pump is one of the most important, as almost every building requires water. Whether it's a farm, a stone hut, everything requires water. Next, we have a stone mine, which you use later in the game to mine stone for your stone refinery. And we have the lumber mill, which will refine trees for your lumber mill, or your lumber refinery. Next, we have expansion. We'll be able to research the forecast tower, which will give you a much more detailed view up here of the weather to come, what's happening. Then we have the archive, which I should place now because the archive allows you to save the game. You cannot save the game without the archive. So the archive will look good right over here. Let's place that there. Now they have two buildings they're building at the same time. Okay, now that we've built the archive, the next one is the school. Now the school is used to educate your little nuggets. You don't want them doing the same things over and over again. You want them to evolve and educate. Some buildings, like the stone refinery, work better when they have an educated nugget behind them. And the upgraded buildings will be coming soon. And finally, we have the epicenter of town. We have the eatery, which allows your nuggets to cook food and store food. We have the cemetery. Unfortunately, nuggets do die sometime. And when they do, you don't want the bodies lying around because they decay and rot, and then they leave a corpse disease behind. Next, we have the engineer's hut. They go around and repair your buildings for you. Next is the well, obviously, where nuggets go and drink water, because any water that is not from a well or an eatery is contaminated. This would be where that little nugget got contaminated that I had to tell you about there, where I rejuvenated them. And that unfortunate little nugget was drinking bad water. As you can see, that is the nugget we marked. Just keeping an eye, doesn't seem to be doing much right now. But I'm sure they might be waiting for a partner to mate by the hut, or some other silly thing like that. Nuggets have minds of their own, and will do as they please. After the well, we have the hospital. This brings us the witch doctor. Now, I will go into more depth into each of these buildings as I build them. I'm going to be taking these videos down to about 5 or 10 minutes apiece. Now, as you can see, our research is complete. I am really not worried about research in the beginning. It's a slow start, and I'm trying to build nuggets and explain the game. So the first off, we have cooking. This allows your nuggets to cook the raw food into cooked food. And what that does is cooked food satisfies hunger needs better, and it also lasts longer in their tummies. So if they eat raw food, it will last in their tummies, say, 5 minutes. If they eat cooked food, it will last, say, 7 minutes. So it does help. Next, we have the storage areas, which is the warehouse evolution. And then we have our agriculture for the farm, which we need to build soon. And the fishing pier, which we're not worried about until spring. So to start off, we should start with the nugget eatery and get that going. Get some food. Get the fishing pier going, and then worry about the warehouse. Okay, so now that we've got everything researching, I can go back to explaining the bottom panel here. This is your research. This is your secondary research. Right now we've got it on slow burn, which was that, I would guess you would call it an epic research event. So moving down here on the bottom of the row, we have stone and lumber. These are stone and wood. These are the two main building blocks of your society in the Stone Age and Medieval Age. We can also get metal, oil, and gas. Metal, oil, and gas are not currently available as of this alpha production. I'm not sure when they're coming in, but I'm sure they will be coming in soon, as we are now going into the pre-medieval era and medieval. Next, we have our food. We have 28 raw food, and we have 0 cooked food. It's pretty simple enough. When we get the eateries, we'll cook the food, and we'll have cooked food here. Next is our water. This comes from the water pumps. It produces 160 water because I've got 2 pumps producing 80 output each. I am guessing that's 80 output a second, so we've got 2 160 output a second. And I'm currently using 5. This number goes up awfully quick, so you want to keep an eye on it. I always like to keep it a lot higher than it needs to be. That's just personal preference. You don't need to do that, but you will find I do that as we play. And as you see, it just went up to 10 with the production of another stone hut. Now, as for these little numbers here, the lake is 99.9% full. There are 11,533,450 units of water remaining. This tells you what you're taking out. This tells you what's remaining. Down here, you've got the pump output for all your pumps, what is being used, and that's the total water you have left, obviously. 160 minus 10 is 150. So that's an easy way to keep track of your water. Okay, over here, you have the planet's current oxygen level. We have the amount of oil remaining on the planet. And we also have the amount of gas remaining on the planet. These are all finite things. I believe they have talked about adding ways to replenish them to a certain degree in the creator's panel when you're being in the God mode in creation. I believe they're going to have things like reforestation, things like that. Trees grow, water does refill the lakes and help the bushes grow. Like if the bushes, like here, we have 3 food and 2 herbs. They will eat the food, our picket for the eatery, and it will go down to food 0, and then the water will come, it'll rain, it'll replenish the food. So they have worked a lot on the ecosystem. They have birds, they have many different types of animals. And I'm thinking the one final thing I missed is off here in the corner. This is your news. It starts right from the very beginning. The Evolution Tower has just received its final touches, the first message. You can close that up just by clicking off it, but if you need to find out anything you've done in the game, it's all there. So as a basic intro, that's our start to the Universim. I've basically given you a heads up on the HUD display. I have showed you their little stone huts. You've got to see the little nuggets work and run in action. I've showed you the Evolution Tower, which you use for research. I've showed you the archive. And this is how you assign a nugget to work. Right here where it says assign nugget, click on that. It will bring up your whole list of nuggets. Now what I like to do is click the age and hire the youngest nugget. He is going to live the longest. This way, I have got someone who's going to live a while, keep working at the job. The older ones can stay as laborers until I need them. So let's put in a save name. How about Haven? Haven, and we will save. And am I going to overwrite my old Haven? Yes, I am. I like the name Haven. Okay, cooking has just been researched. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break here, and when we come back, I will start with the cooking in the building. Or actually, I think I'm going to do the cooking first, since we've got it. As I said, down here, epicenter, eatery. Now a good idea is to have the eatery near a bush or two, and near where you want the center of town. Right there will be a perfect spot. We got bushes here, we got bushes down here. So they'll build the eatery, and we'll explain it all when I get back. I'll have it built, and we'll be ready for the next episode. So this is Unka Bean saying I hope you're enjoying this. If you like it, give us a like. If you want to see more games like this, give us a subscribe, because this is just the beginning. And we will hopefully see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.